Hi, and thank you for joining me today. Today, I'd like to introduce you to the concept of the chemistry of successful strategies. Now, on your slide, you'll notice there's a question mark between successful and strategies, and that's because I believe this formulary, which is a word formula, can be applied to many areas of your company, ranging from sales to HR to advertising or marketing. It can be applied almost anywhere to single projects as well as company direction. So what I'd like to do is walk you through the formula first and then discuss the components. Now here you'll see the slide. This is a very practical way to look at developing a strategy, as I said, in many areas of your company. It is a very high level view and it's to be used as a guide only. It leads to a lot of discussions. For example, when we look at the formula, we see why divided by why not, plus what if divided by how, plus where times who, that all bracketed in times risk to equal successful strategy. Now, word formulas are not the easiest thing to comprehend in a lot of people's minds, but hopefully I can give you very simplistic points of view on how this moves about and how we use it. First, let's talk about the why divided by the why not. Now, if you've looked at the list, you see that we have to ask our questions of why. And many companies today are not asking this question, first of all, or they're not asking it well enough. And this is something that needs to be part of every company's DNA. Why are we in business? Why are we building this product or offering this service? Why do people want to buy from us? It's a very simple question, but it's a profound answer when you do arrive at it. What do customers buy from us specifically, and why do they buy from us specifically? Now, once you've taken the whys, I always like to look at the why nots. This is the other side of the coin. This is where we look at it and says, we can't change that product or service. Then I have to ask the question, why not? Or when our customers will not buy from us, then I have to ask the question, why not? Or someone makes a statement, we can afford to do a new product or line right now. Why not? The economy is bad, so we can't expand. Why not? The divide function implies that you should ask both questions, even if they seem redundant. The why nots may stimulate innovation in your organization, and this is encouraged throughout this presentation. Here we're going to examine the what and the what if. This is the top part. You'll notice it's divided by the how, which we'll discuss in a few minutes. The what really focuses on the item or services that you will deliver. What will that product look like? What will that service look like? What kind of function will it perform? What will it fulfill? What kind of answer will it be for a question or a problem? How do your customers know what they're being presented if you don't design that first? So you really are the designer when you're looking at this particular what. Now the what if takes it to the other side of the envelope and puts it in terms of, what if we made it do this? We added a function or a feature. What if we were to change the components or the raw materials to improve the qualities? What if we change the time cycle on this particular product? By adding the what to the what if, you can expand the field of focus for your product line or services. In other words, you can expand your memory. You can move out into a new area without much fear and trepidation. You at least have given it the thought to start with. Now that we've examined the why not, and the what if part of the formula, we have to look at the how. And this basically boils down to the nuts and bolts, the processes. How do we assemble a product or service to make it profitable? How do we ensure that we will have the quality components and raw materials that are necessary for construction or delivery? How do we schedule the people to ensure that we have commitment to flow of product and services? How do we encourage our products reach the right people at the right time and to create satisfied customers? How do we keep our company and or products relevant in the next year, in the next 5 years, the next 10 years? Can we collaborate with others to share risk to ensure that we have profitability? There are a lot of questions that can come out of this how, and it's something that I highly encourage you spend a lot of time in when you're working on this formula. The where is an interesting part of the formula because you've already defined the what if in the how, and now you have to look at how there are dependencies that may be required. Are there location dependencies? Are there time dependencies? Are there people related dependencies that need to play? But specifically, I want you to think about the idea of where. Are there local components or raw materials that are mandatory for the development of the product that require that you stay in a specific geographic area? If there are no dependencies from products or components, then the impact is neutral. You can be able to move or locate your company anywhere you want to, provided you can find the people, resources, and facilities to handle it. If it is a service company, you may be able to run virtually, but that's only if your clients will allow for the remote nature of the access and delivery of your services. Now, the other side of where comes down to what happens if your customer or clients have a negative impression of having product or services originating somewhere else? And I'm thinking particularly of offshore. If this is a key factor in developing the product or service that you have in mind, then you have to trod gingerly in this area. You have to be able to answer this question without batting an eyelash that your customers will buy it and they will accept that type of a relationship. For me, the who is the most fun of this because it is part of what we are talking about today in terms of being people-centric. People are the creators of the processes. People are the key to maintaining quality. People are critical to the creating of the culture that will deliver the quality and the reputation and the brand that you so strugglingly are putting together. People develop relationships. They develop trust between customers, partners, and each other. This trust is foundational to moving your brand ahead. Now, people can make the difference between success and failure without a doubt. This is a primary factor that you need to be concerned about. Companies are allowed recognition as an entity in terms of some tax and social terminologies, but it is still people who make the company work. The fact that you can call a company an entity is strictly a syntactical statement. The reality, as I mentioned, is focused on the fact that there are people inside of that company that make it work, make it function, and provide the brand a face to the client and the customer. Now, finally, we can't go anywhere without bringing risk to the factor, to the formula. Risk cannot be ignored in any business situation, but it also can't be a deterrent to growth either. If a product or service has a low risk factor, then the door for success can be opened further, the comfort level can be expanded, people can really try new things. However, if the product or service has a high risk factor, then the options for success must be limited until the factor can be reduced. This is critical to success. That's why it's a multiplier. It's a weighting factor in the formula. And it really is one that needs to be taken at face value. You can't blush over risk because you do, it's going to cost you at some point in the process. Now, the final thing I'll mention on risk is the fact that the threshold for risk is totally dependent on the passion, the values, and the potential good that can be provided by the product or service, and that is driven by the leadership team and the culture. So how you deal with risk is going to be dependent on how you interact with your people and how you can develop the rapport necessary to reduce risk and increase productivity, sales, and recognition. Well, thanks for joining us today in discussing the topic of the chemistry of successful strategies. Now, this is based on TLG's World Formula Series, which will have more to show in future arenas. Now, we can also customize part of an engagement and motivation framework for your company or group that will include this formula plus knowledge from people such as John Maxwell and others in the leadership knowledge arena. If you'd like to do that, you can contact us at any one of the points that are listed on this slide. For example, you can get a hold of us through my email at ron@transformativeleadership.us, or you can call at 630-935-3326. I'd be happy to hear from you at any time and enjoy discussing the topic in depth when you do call. Thanks and have a great day.